to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Mable Twegumye Zake and it's question time. And guess who is visiting? It's my mate, co-news anchor, the BBC World Komla Dumor award winner, and of course investigative journalist Solomon Serwanjja. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing great. Lovely to be on this other side.
Yes,
We've always been, the same side. Today I'm on this side.
Do you know how many times people have asked me to interview you?
And I asked you myself also, and you refused.
No, but anyway, we're doing it on my YouTube channel. And
but I'm so happy that this time has really come to pass, right?
It kind of feels weird, but it's okay. It's okay. We enjoy each other while doing news, and why shouldn't we enjoy this?
Certainly. I think for me, it's chemistry that we have together. It's the the laughs and cries. It's the pinching when no one is seeing. It's the quarrels. By the way, it's not all rosy all the time. So what you see on set sometimes, there are so many things that happen behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But end when everything is said and done, we're a team and we complement each other. And for me, it's really an honor to be with you on the same set.
And probably I should start from there. So, am I a better news anchor than you are, or are you a better news anchor?
Let the viewers decide, but to be honest, I think Mable is a very good anchor. I think for me, what really excites me about you on set is your articulation.
Okay.
You don't panic even in case of any emergency. I always panic. People didn't know,
and
but you
don't
help
know
me.
that I always have to calm you.
You always have to come in there and say, okay, Serwanjja,
relax.
But you sort of compliment me. I think you have strength that I ride on all the time. You cover my mistakes, you compliment me, and somehow people think I'm good, but actually I think I stand on your shoulders to be a giant.
But I also think there's something about you. The chemistry.
Yeah.
I guess it's that. Okay, so people look at you as an investigative journalist, others, of course, I know of you as a news anchor, but I'll ask if you feel the same way about yourself when you look at 10 years ago. Is it still the same feelings?
I think a lot has changed in my professional career. Listen, I'll tell you a story that I've told so many times. There's a time when I was at one of the media houses, and I'm glad to say it was NTV, where in the meeting I was told to do a live broadcast, the first of its time, its kind. And one of the people in the meeting stood up and said, Solomon Serwanjja cannot do that. That time they had paired me to do a live broadcast with the legendary Frank Walusimbi. And he said, no, he's going to mess it up. We cannot give it to him. And I remember feeling so bad that time. I put my head down and they said nothing. Imagine the morning meetings that everyone is there. And the editor just told me, called me in her meeting room and told me, you know what, I'm believing in you and you're going to shame that person. And I remember, she talked to me and encouraged me. And I did the broadcast very well. I mean, I panicked the first seconds and then got my grip and did my magic. And when I came back, everyone was just clapping for me. And so over the last couple of years, I've done 10 years in journalism, have grown, my fears have reduced, my confidence on set has increased, my articulation, my pronunciation. I keep growing and changing. I'm not the person I used to be. I may not be there yet, but I am not what I used to be then.
What still feels is those things about us that you feel never change?
Let me tell you what never changes.
Okay.
I've been reading news for the last 10 years. On different television, from UBC to NTV to NBS to KTN to the BBC. There's this one thing that scares me. Stand by solo on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on air. Live television. I mean, I've never ever stopped fearing that moment.
The adrenaline.
The adrenaline of telling you there's no tech tools.
Yeah, true.
It is live TV, so on 3, 2, 1 on air, and sometimes the words just go. Like you're speaking in the middle of it all, and then boom, the word just refuses, and you have it on your tongue, but it just refuses to get out. You're like, goodness, and there's been times when you look at me like, Serwanjja, just say it, please say it.
I know, at times you
but
feel
it just stops, and you want to say it, but you can't help.
Yeah.
But then it just, sometimes it's live TV. There's no tech tools, right?
I always tell myself the moment they say on air, I always tell myself before that, never stop talking. Like no matter what, because remember I've done recorded programs, right?
Yeah.
But for live TV, I tell myself never stop talking no matter what. And at times I think, oh my God, what if you say something stupid?
I know. Listen, live television, there are no two ways about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you mess it up, people will go and cut out exactly that particular point that you messed it up. And this is how unfair live TV is. They'll cut it out and then it goes viral. You find yourself in WhatsApp groups. Find yourself on Twitter, on Facebook, and people using you as emojis, and as you know, it's just crazy. But yeah, live TV is good, and you know, Mable, this is why people who watch us need to also be kind to us.
I know.
You know, sometimes they really judge us so harshly.
But I always tell you, we're not perfect. Probably when somebody's watching me, I always tell myself, even if I make a mistake, and that is why at times I don't beat myself too much about what we do, because one, it's not easy, and then at the end of the day, as a human being, you make a mistake. So
people are rude sometimes. You know, they just go and attack you, and they forget we have emotions too, right? Because when people overly attack you, as a person, you feel bad.
I know. Okay, so where do you feel you personally get more clout? Is it as an international broadcaster or as the homegrown celebrity?
I don't know if I would consider myself as a celebrity. But by the way, what's the definition of the word celebrity? Let's start there. I don't know, like, what is that? Does that mean like you're celebrated? So it doesn't come from that?
Do you feel you are celebrated?
Yes, I feel I'm very, very, very much celebrated, both nationally and globally.
So where do you feel the cloud? Is it on the international scene? When you imagine yourself, okay, now maybe if I'm the other side, then that is the Solomon Serwanjja.
Well, I think it's home. I think it's home. Well, maybe people ask me why I came back from London after being at the BBC, and everyone came pouncing on me. Why, after winning the one of the world's biggest awards, and I'm coming back home to NBS. And at one point I stopped and thought, I'm like, I have to serve this country. This is home. This is where I belong. This is where I want to have an impact from. And even if my contribution is small, but I have to serve my people. This is where I feel my contribution is done. This is where my market is. And you've got to have a niche somewhere, so people keep seeing you. Let me tell you why the world keeps seeing me. It's because of I be here until I tell the world about these stories. If I was on international platforms, and make no mistake, I've always loved to be on international platforms. But where is my level of journalism? Will the world still see me at the global standards? And to be honest, Mable, I feel that wherever we are journalists. As long as we keep doing what we're supposed to do, which is good journalism, the world will keep seeing you.
And when you speak of that, does that mean you've already seeded your legacy?
I think legacy, okay. Well, listen, I feel like I've done, I've told you 10 years in journalism. I have over 20 awards on my names, including 3 international awards, and the rest of them are local awards. There's a friend of mine who calls me WS, the most decorated journalist of our times. I have won awards, I have anchored, I have reported, I've been to the drainage and back. But and I've done journalism, I have trained people. I feel like I've made my contribution to the industry. And very, very soon I'm going to tell you what is going to happen, what's going to be my next move in the next couple of months.
Aren't you going to mention it?
I will keep it for now.
We'll bring it back. I'll bring it back.
Yeah, certainly. But I think that it's time for me to support journalism from the periphery, through imparting the same experience and knowledge that I have received over the last 10 years to young journalists who are going to come and take up our places. Maybe I can guarantee you're not going to be on TV forever. It's just like talent. Talent grows, and then every day there's new talent coming up. So you've got to understand at what point are you and when do you jump. So I feel like you and I have done this. We've grown up on TV, and very, very soon we need to hand over the mantle to new young journalists who are going to bring new energies on screen. They're going to bring new energies in storytelling, in investigative journalism, in features, they're going to be the next kings and queens of TV. And so I think that we who have been in the game for quite a while need to start grooming the people, imparting our writing skills, imparting our investigative skills, our anchoring skills, because we certainly, like it or not, we have to hand over this man.
I totally agree. Would you die for the truth?
Yes. I think for me, I have put my life on the line so many times to defend the truth and to defend journalism. I have risked it all, my life, the life of those I love and care about, because I believe that if social injustice continues to happen in my community and in my society and I keep quiet about it because I fear to die, then I am digging my own grave already. Because then if they beat a journalist in the field, if the military or the police beats a journalist in the field and I don't come out to speak against it, then tomorrow they'll beat me and the world will stay quiet.
If you died for that, would it be a worthy death?
I think I don't want to die a coward.
Okay.
I want to die as someone who made a contribution. I want to be remembered as someone who made a contribution to my community, to investigative journalism, which is my core. And I think that investigative journalism, as we all know, is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the brave. It's for people who are ready to, go an extra mile and risk it all, because along the way you're stepping on toes, you are, hurting people, but at the same time also, that's the nature of investigative journalism. It's not to, to nurse egos, it's just shrewd journalism. I actually call it shrewd journalism, where you have to say it in black and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm worried about the future of investigative journalism in this country, because where is investigative journalism in this country? This is why, again, I don't want to tell you what I'll be working on, but I'll be telling you maybe at a later stage. But I think that attention needs to be focused on investigative journalism, growing investigative journalism in Uganda and in the region, and later on the continent.
So if I flip the question and ask, would you die for love?
Okay. Yes, I think I would. I would die for love, for the person I love and care about, because that person has risked it all for me.
Okay.
She has gone to the to the dungeons and back for me. So for me, that's what love is. Love is sacrifice. So you put a gun on my head to trade my life for the person I love.
You would just close your eyes, right?
Say, shoot me. Boom.
God forbid. Okay, so what do you fear most? If I say, if it's characteristic of shame and scorn, what would that be?
I fear to destroy the legacy that I've built.
Okay.
That's my biggest worry. Because, Mable, as you know, that people take years to build names.
Sure.
But it takes a second to break those names. Like everything just goes down the drain because of you done one thing. And the world will forget all the awards, all the investigations that you've done, all the energy and anchoring, and everyone who used to celebrate you as, Uganda's favorite journalist or the good news anchor. Everyone, everything just goes down the drain in just a second. When you do something, that is not expected of you before the eyes and faces of right-thinking members of the public. I fear that's my worst fear. That one day you wake up and you find headlines, tabloids, main newspapers with my name, with a bad story. I just freak out. Like, a good name is better than riches.
Yeah, totally.
That's what scares me. It freaks me out.
Okay, so it's question time. So my last question to Solomon Serwanjja. Finish this sentence for me. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for
God, I think, because He's got me from nothing to something, from I come from a relatively broke background, but God has lifted me from dust, and I'm seated with kings and queens. I've been on the international screen, have been, celebrated, given awards, spoken at international conferences. If it's not God, then who is it? I think it's God.
Good answer. Well, thank you so much for visiting us, mate.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you so much for watching Question Time with Mable Twegumye Zake. The question is, who is next?